Ah, hello, people. It's been some time. Uh, if I remember correctly, at least a month and some change. Time passes, but purpose does not. I am hoping you guys are weller since the last time I've seen you. Uh, we're all applying ourselves a little bit more each day, progressing, regressing. It's a slope. It's a journey, never straightforward. Just make sure that regardless of what your output is, you have a healthy relationship with who you see in the mirror. And if you're not there, I hope you're getting there. Um, I pass through that state of being, that state of mind every now and then. Like, I've been doing better myself at staying in that state for longer periods of time. Everybody gives into doubt, everybody gives into anxiety every now and then. But we try and reduce it within reason, you know? I think that is really my main approach, my main topic I'm here to speak with you guys about during this little transitional period. I'm doing a lot of, I'm on some Minecraft shit. I'm doing a lot of off screen building right now. I can't, as much as I would love to sit down and like be that type of person who records like every single like step of my life. Like I'm not a vlogger. Sometimes I'm gonna disappear and do some stuff for me so that I can come back to this stronger and more efficient. I was dealing with, like, I don't want to say like little voices because that has like a certain connotation, you know what I mean? I'm not dealing with like Arkham Asylum style voices, but I get a little hesitant every now and then. I never regret what I do, and I never feel like I'm not cut out for it. My problem is I have such a definitive idea. I'm so particular about how I do it that I tend to fall short of my own expectations and just get into periods of analysis paralysis. Whole time I end up like in practice doing nothing. On paper I'm working my ass off, but really it's just like sometimes I struggle with being in control of where the battle takes place. I'll be AFK, like I'll be still, like real idle in the real world. Whole time I'm like really duking it out up here, getting shit done, terraforming. Like on one hand, that's a good thing because many people lack that skill and never have that type of deep cleanse, and it honestly shows. But there's also people who do that shit way too often, and it shows. Don't be what's the saying? What's the saying? Don't be so something. Don't be so high that you're of no earthly good. I guess. I think to an extent that applies. But yeah, I hope you guys are going easy on yourselves. Go hard on the grind, but be easy on yourself. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself. Because if you give all this shit up and throw the towel in because you don't know how to move gracefully, like within the confines of your own mind, then none of this means anything anyway. Either way, you're getting to a destination, and as long as you're taking steps every day, even the invisible ones, even the ones that you don't recognize, we spend a lot of time unconscious, but even that ends up being worth something because as soon as we reach consciousness and achieve like a certain level of consciousness, you double back and you process things and you see things in a way that you weren't able to at that moment. So no time is really like dead, wasted time. I guess really what I'm here to tell you, if you're someone like me who's like constantly racing some imaginary clock, if you really cannot get rid of the tendency to function that way or think that way, move about that way, do work so effective that you reduce the guilt you feel when you take your off days, because they're bound to happen. you know it's been a few weeks every weekend I get into that mode. I'm like, let me sit down, let me create some stuff. I like to have a really good output process, output cycle, you know? But nobody really puts me up to that standard except for me. So if there are like there's things outside of this, envelopes outside of this for me to push, and I feel like like in a perfect world, I could run around with a whole bunch of shadow clones and get all of my grinds done, all of my hustles done, each of my personal endeavors done, push each of those forward. But I'm one person, and not only do I have to be, you know, fair to myself, I have to be consistently fair to myself, get a bit better with that. And I feel like if I've been battling with this, if I can express that, articulate that well enough, put it on the internet, maybe somebody else needed to hear that shit too. You know what I mean? Like this is co-op multiplayer. Like we all deal with. We may not have one for one the exact same types of problems, but everybody deals with something. Um, yeah, take things easy. Just because you're not shoom, 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 doesn't mean that nothing's getting done. Like I feel like it's so like when you're such a go 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 type of person, you consider every idle moment to be a waste or a sacrifice of time. Oh my god, I came home and took a shit instead of studying the blockchain. Like bro, like this life is not going anywhere. The nigga that did it anyway, and the nigga who fell short of it, all need air, all need water, all see a grave someday. I'll go to sleep someday. So you really just have to if you aren't doing it right now, get back into the spirit of taking things slow and proceeding with grace. Otherwise, you'll spend a lot of time dealing with guilt and anxiety because you're not off participating in all these grand quests the second you have some excess time on your hands. Not even excess. Excess is perspective. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Not every waking moment has to be harnessed into doing like some great work. You have to focus on like to what extent is the chasing of the bag really your escape plan from something else that was chasing you. You feel me? Like that hustle culture, yeah, hustle culture. Hustling yourself to death, grinding yourself to death. It doesn't fucking achieve anything. It may push things forward in this material world, but in many cases that can just be seen as what word am I looking for? It was one of my favorite words, I think like 2 videos ago. Yeah, I can't think of it. Maybe that shit's not in my weapon wheel this time around. What? Supplement. Yeah. Supplement. Yeah. just went to my little PC box and added that shit into my inventory. Yeah. It's really like a supplement for something. You have to do like, yes, there are things that need to get done in this world, but there's also some internal dialogues that you will not be privy to until and unless you stay the fuck still and let everything pass by. How would I feel about myself if I didn't get this done? I'm not pushing the romanticization of procrastinating or just I'll do it later. Like that's not what it's for. But learn to live with yourself either way, Wake up, open your eyes, go to sleep at the end of the night, and every event that took place within that, you got to find a way to either accept it, transmute it, let it go, understand it, and put that shit behind you, or put that shit right in front of you. You know, whatever you're focusing on, either dial in or let that shit go. Always be in a process of one of those two. Have courage. A lot of these days, I don't want to be the kind of person to tell you, oh yeah, the shit that happens, oh, it's not your fault. But there's just so many other factors happening in this world. Not everything is like on some, like, if you spend enough time on the internet and stuff, everybody freaking out over like recession periods and stuff. Oh yeah, we're a bunch of broke Gen Z college kids. We work 3 jobs. Like, no, not everything comes down to, like, control what you can control. And sometimes regaining control looks like relinquishing control. You know, like on some nonchalant dreadhead shit, you're letting some shit go to ultimately gain an advantage, or to gain the upper hand, to gain the dominance, to gain stage control of the situation. There's just so many neat little mental and psychological tricks you can do in your day to achieve peace of mind regardless of what's happening. You know, that's the key. Heaven and hell are accessible anywhere. I'm not saying like you could just fast travel from anywhere, but there's so many different states of being happening like on this fucking planet. You got to choose which one you're tapping into on the daily. If you just let your mind just run, I think to a certain extent my anxiety was a little blinker on my meter telling me that I've been putting some stuff off and I need to get back on the horse, you know? So on one hand, yeah, my little spidey senses telling me to get back on the bag, but I also have to ignore the parts of anxiety that made it such a complicated process for me in the first place, you know? Gaslighting myself into thinking I don't know how to press record and start talking about some shit that I wish somebody was telling me, and say that into the phone. It's not that fucking hard. Sometimes that shit just gets away from me. I don't know. We undiagnosed over here. I don't know what the fuck I got going on under the hood, but it doesn't matter because we taking it a step at a time. I'm sure it would be a fucking blessing in disguise for me to be given some magical acronym that just explains why I think about 12 things I'm gonna do in a day and end up doing 4. But that's not what we on right now. This is just a brief little transitional video. I think the last time I had an intermission to give you guys, I had this fit on. Maybe like 2 intermissions ago. But that's besides the point. That doesn't follow up into anything. Yeah. Go easy on yourselves, people. The mission ain't going anywhere. It takes a lot more to drive the plot away than you think. Don't think just because you're doing another type of growth. I'm gonna put it back into Minecraft terms like I did earlier. You know what I mean? Imagine you got one motherfucking furnace. You got some ores, because you just came back from a mining trip, and you got some fucking raw food. You know what I mean? Don't think you finna starve to death just because you take some of the food out, because think about it like this. You got 60 pieces of fucking raw mutton, right? Don't think that you finna starve to death just because you move that shit out the way to hurry up and smelt enough iron to put some armor on your naked ass. You know what I mean? And then put the food back in. You know, like don't be afraid. It's not the end of the world to pause and resume some shit at a later date. Like, it's gonna be alright. We got fucking 80 years. Maybe. Of course, not everybody gets that, but a lot of fucking younger people, you just like, you're 16, 17 thinking shit's cooked. 18, 19 thinking shit's cooked. 20, 25 thinking shit's cooked. Nigga, Jesus wasn't even doing the shit he was doing till he was 30. You know what I mean? By then, we would have been kicked out, washed allegations, like that shit wouldn't fly. in the modern age, bro, because you just racing niggas on Instagram, and they didn't even hustle for their shit. Their granddaddy hit an oil rig fucking gajillion years ago, and this nigga just had like a good spawn. So stop racing with people. Stop racing with people. This ain't Mario Kart time trials, bro. Like, you gotta set your own record, make your own placements. Stop giving a fuck about what's happening outside of you. being still doesn't mean that you're being inactive, I guess is the moral of the story, to put things simply and to put things seriously. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not about to give y'all a 20-minute intermission like fucking last time. Bye, people. Y'all will see me again sooner, but yeah, see you when I see you. Keep drinking water. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Bye bye.